And we're here. Yes. Okay, I still don't know. I don't know if I like the music and the upside down snow or if they drive me nuts. I haven't decided yet. We'll let everybody else make that call. Sorry, I'm adjusting cameraage. God dang it, I can't do that the right direction. That is not Lyle Barnett. That is Brian McTaggart. Lyle may be here tonight. There may be a bunch of people coming in tonight. We now have the ability, now that we're on StreamYard, to actually bring in up to 10 people. So nice. I don't know if that's a good idea to tell you guys. So if you're like, if you really think like you absolutely should be on the broadcast and that there's some good reason, then yay, let us know. And I don't know, maybe I'll send you an invite in the in Facebook or something. I don't know. We'll see. But welcome, McTaggart. Dude, we haven't done a show in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Because the last time you and I were really together was Rocky Mountain Race Week 2020.
Yeah.
Race Week 2.
And I know it's been crazy. So I guess it's as good a time as any. McTaggart and I have been talking about bringing back Power Shift, which some of you really old school bang shifters may remember. I used to do Power Shift. It's literally been like 6, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago or so that I started that in Crosby's shop in Ontario, California. And we would drink every Thursday night, and we would drink every Thursday night. And we happened to talk about cars as well, and what was going on in the racing community and on Bang Shift, etc. So we're going to bring that back. Barn knows it. McTaggart and I have been talking about it for, I don't know, dude, probably the last 2 years, right? About bringing it back. Yeah, really the last year or so. I mean, it's all a blur because COVID, but we've been talking about it. And so it is coming back. Ron Ward in the house, Barn, of course, the Thor of the chat room. I love you, dude. Thank you so much. Ron Ward, remind me later in the chat, No Name Nationals. Okay. But we are going to bring it back. So we will, I don't know. What are you doing on Thursday? Are you open on Thursday there, McT? This Thursday?
Yeah, Thursdays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then let's do this. We're going to do a soft opening on Power Shift this Thursday. Okay. Me and McTaggart, and we'll see who else is here. We'll have a good time. It's going to be awesome. Doug DeLay in the house. Okay. So before we get very far tonight, though, I have to tell you on incredibly sad news. We have had a bunch of cool people die this week, and it really, really sucks. So I will start out with Iron Mike Boyd, driver of the Winged Express. If you haven't seen the much skinnier Chad telling you that if you weren't excited about a lane-changing burnout by the Winged Express, then you're dead, then you have missed a great video, and you need to go look at it. It's on Bang Shift in the featured deal on the top. And owner and driver of the Winged Express, of course, Marcellus and Borsch. Wild Willie was the original driver. Him and Mousy, they were super close, and they did all this awesome stuff together. Willie died, and they had 2 cars. They quit racing. They did funny cars. It didn't work out. They were building a 3rd car. Willie gets sick and dies. Another gentleman was supposed to drive the car. He gets sick and dies before the car is done. Marcellus meets up with Mike Boyd at the races, and the next thing you know, the 2 of them are just an absolute, powerhouse. And they build what is the 3rd Winged Express, and just, an absolutely iconic hot rod. Like, I hate T-buckets. That's a fuel alter, right? That thing, yes, it's a T-bucket body, but it is rad. And I mean, McTaggart, you've seen it run several times now. I've seen it make, I've probably seen that thing make 100 runs in my life, maybe more than that. and every one of them is exciting.
Right, and that's the thing with the fuel altereds. You always saw that historical aspect to them. Those were that car was one of the few you actually still got to see in person at full tilt. They did not give a damn. They would run that thing as far as they could take it.
Absolutely.
That video piece that Chad mentioned, that is arguably, if not the keystone piece of video Bang Chip's ever created. It's definitely top 5. And in person, there's no way you cannot have that same excitement that Chad had in that video. I saw it in California the one time I was there. I don't know. I had to have seen it in other places. It had to have been here in Bowling Green.
And it's badass, and it's horrible. Mike recently passed away. He died on the 22nd. My understanding is he was getting some kind of medical procedure done. Mike had some health issues over the years as well, but just an awesome dude. Super sad to see him go. Lyle Barnett is in the backstage, so he's coming. The other 2 gentlemen that I've got to bring up. Well, let's add Lyle first. Lyles,
welcome.
What is up, Bubba? Yeah, that looks like Biggin's shop.
It's Pete's shop.
Oh,
but Beer Money has a real deal transmission cooler.
Wow,
nice.
Look at that. Okay, hold on. So I want to continue. I want to talk about Mike Boyd and the Winged Express again. Just absolutely horrible that he passed away. Danny Ungaius also passed away this week, which, as you know, crazy history of racing with Danny Ungaius. Indy cars. I believe he ran at Bonneville. He drag raced. He did it all.
He was on bikes. He did kart. I mean, what did he do?
But the one that, and I say, but the one, it doesn't. I mean, none of them are, they're all sad, but in the West Coast drag racing world, a gentleman by the name of Armin Magdishian, and I know I'm saying his name wrong because I always pronounce Armin's name wrong. He passed away. One of the most badass Tri-5 Chevys on the planet. Armin is, Jody Zolan's on here. Dude, Armin, an absolutely epic human being. This dude had a black 57 Chevrolet with the most insane orange flames all the way down the sides. Just a badass small tire car, hauled ass, a favorite of everybody. I don't know the details of what happened to him, but just a hell of a guy. And it breaks my heart, dude. He's such a cool dude. Every single time I saw him, he was always rad and just always super nice and fun. And even when he lost and was out early or something, he was still having a good time. And man, I just hate it. So everybody that's lost anybody this week, we feel you. These 3 just, man, it hit home this week and it just sucks. So yes, thank you, everybody for the good well wishes and the thoughts and the prayers and everything. I know all the families appreciate it for sure. So, okay. So Lyles, so you're working on Beer Money.
I am.
And you had an interesting weekend.
That I did.
It was entertaining. You drove a truck.
I did.
Which was awesome. And handed everybody the damn asses in Georgia.
I did. I came in with big stick, swung that thing like I had some sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've never driven in that thing. I've never driven that thing. Never really worked on it. I've only been around it. It's been at our shop for a while, but it had problems that were outside of our control that required parts being shipped out, waiting for parts to be shipped back in. And I'm talking about it modern. We had it for several months, but we really didn't do much to it for a little while because we were waiting on parts, and then we updated it, put it back together. I didn't know whether I was going to drive it or not. Decided I wanted to drive it and go to Georgia. The truck hasn't been ran in like 2 years. They didn't really have anybody lined up to tune it, like nothing. So I told Pete, I said, guess what? You're tuning this truck this weekend. And so he was tuning Warpath, the truck I was driving, which it is actually a really, really nice truck. Like full tube chassis, carbon fiber everywhere, Brad 6 Hemi, twin 106 millimeter turbos.
Twin 106s?
Twin 106s. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a pro mod for the most part in truck form, right? You know,
yeah, but it don't look it. That's the thing. I just saw the first photos of it today on my end. Yeah, that thing looks sedate. That thing looks like you just pull out on the street and go hit Rocky Mountain or
so he went to Ace Hardware and bought rattle cans and he painted that thing himself.
Like, no way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so I show up there, had no idea how to get the truck down the racetrack. Pull into the water box the first time, do a burnout, back up, everything's good, bump in, and it annihilates the tires when I let go of the button. Let's go way the other direction. So we unloaded. It was pretty slow, but it went down the racetrack, and every pass after that we picked up somewhere around 1/10 to 2/10 of a second. We made 10-mile-an-hour jumps at a time, and it's a no-time deal, so we can't talk about what it ran, but made it to the finals. And Pete's tuning both trucks in the final round, the truck I'm driving and Ray Morton's.
The S10. Yeah.
So he's like, all right, look, let Ray do his burnout and start backing up. And then you do your burnout. And Pete lined up both trucks, tuned. And I told him before the round, I'm like, before the final, I said, look, dude, just put we know what Ray's truck will go. We really don't have a whole lot of time with Warpath. Take a guess. Give us some similar tune-up and let us figure it out.
Right.
You know, and he didn't disappoint because we both let go of the button and they annihilated the tires, both of them. And I'm whop and he's whop and we're smoking the tires and I managed to gather it up. And there's 1320 did a pretty cool video from the top end, which they'll post in the future, but I literally beat him by like the nose of a C10 pickup truck. So
what tire were you running on both of those trucks?
So I was on a 315. I'm fairly certain that Ray was too, but I'm not. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ray was on a 315. I think we were both on 315.
Okay.
Gotcha. But so first race out, the first time I've ever driven the truck, the first time it's been out in 2 years, and we stuck it in the winter circle, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. We got Mad Matt Graves in the house as well. From good old Greenback, Tennessee, in the house.
That's right. How y'all?
Dude, good, Matt. Matt's got a 58 Chevy in his shop that belongs to a guy I'm not going to say, but it belongs to a really, really famous hot rod builder who is so busy he couldn't work on his own shit. So he sent it to Matt and said, "Hey, work on my shit." And Matt is the brainchild behind all of the fun stuff that goes on at American Powertrain. Is that a fair statement? Can I say that, or will Robert be offended?
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, good.
It's totally fine. Nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, Lyle. I don't think we've ever met before.
We haven't, but I like you already because you're on the right end of this country. So,
well, I follow you guys pretty close, so I've been keeping up. Now, go back and explain to me those giant turbos again. I was coming in right at the start of that. What the hell?
So he was racing a truck this weekend in Georgia.
Full disclosure. I am not a drag racing expert.
No. Yeah.
So
he's not a drag racer at all.
Walk me through it here.
Yeah. So if this car this truck he was driving, a C10, had a Brad 6, it's called, but it's a billet aluminum Hemi. Okay. How many inches is it? Or are we allowed to say?
So it's an it would be NHRA legal. It's 521 cubic inches.
There you go.
They're all the same, right? Like the top fuel cars run 500-inch Alan Johnson or Brad Anderson stuff or whatever. The pro mods run 521-inch, Hemis. They're all relatively the same.
So let me ask you a question.
It has 206 millimeter turbos on it. That's giant. Yeah.
I've always wondered, I got a question for drag racing guys. So all those custom built giant engines, they usually, all that architecture is based on either like a big block Chevy or a Hemi, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
And they just kind of stretch and
or
grow
an
from
LS
there.
engine. Those are your three most
Well,
common nowadays. Yeah.
Like when you go to PRI, you'll see like, oh, here's a complete billet motor, but that's got to have some architecture to be based upon. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
very loosely on the Hemi now because they've come so far. Like all the bore spaces changed and the, all the bolt patterns are different and all that. But still, yeah, spark plug in the top of the, of the combustion chamber, and it's still a Hemi.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
but like your big 900, or I guess really anything over 700 or 800 inches, your 700, 800, 900 inch nitrous engines. I mean, I guess you could say they're Chevrolet based, right? But they're really not. They have been very similar to the Alan Johnson Hemi or Proline stuff. Yeah, they may be Hemi based, but there's nothing about them that is the way a big block Chevrolet was built, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess
like
you gotta have a starting point though. Like
that's it. Yes.
And also cam bearings or whatever, you could keep the same, like using some, use other parts. So
that's it. They start off using like a 481X, which is a very common big block Chevrolet based combo from Proline. Well, not just Proline now, but a 481X, is a big block Chevrolet based engine combo that has just gone crazy, right? But everything that they give on them, like if they refer to it as a tall deck, that deck height is taller than stock big block. So they do use the base measurements of a big block Chevrolet to then describe what the differences are on that one. So so you're right. And same deal would be with an Allen or a Brad Hemi or whatever.
In today's heads up drag racing world, or even top sportsman type stuff, the 481X, when it's used, which now, and it used to back in the radio, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago, Radio versus the World, even some pro mod stuff, the 481X could compete with the Hemi. In recent years, it's just not able to. And it's of the ones we've talked about being used today, the 481X, like Chad said, is probably the closest to what it was designed after than any of the others. Right. Like the 481X is still big block Chevy-ish. They just move stuff around to make it work better. Right. But otherwise it's so far, the Hemis and now, they're so far from what they used to be. It's just not the same. But the 41X
Steve Strupp, I see you in the chat, and dude, I saw that you called me and I totally spaced about calling you back. Hit me up tomorrow. And Cotton in the house. And my old man, Dad, is in the house saying hi, Mr. Six Speed.
Hey, Walt. How you doing, Walt?
So a couple things. So I know you had to have seen Salinas's deal, right, Lyle? You saw Mike Salinas. Yeah. So Matt may not have read this, but Mike Salinas, who's a top fuel driver and a cool dude.
Races pro mod with us too.
Yes, out of Northern California. He has been successful the last couple of years in NHRA at a variety of levels. He and his daughters racing, and they've brought new money and new blood and all kinds of fun to NHRA professional drag racing. But what people don't know is that they've also brought a bunch of money and energy and assistance, if you will, to sportsman drag racing as well, because they've been, getting junior dragster driver sponsorships and all kinds of other stuff. Right. I won't go into all the hard knocks, life of Salinas. He's a very wealthy man now, but he earned it, all of it. Right. At like the most extreme levels, from literally being homeless to where he is now. So, but he made some statements this last weekend about how NHRA is doing it wrong. And I've been saying this for I don't know, 15 years, 10,
at least as long as I've known you.
Yeah. And I know Brian is the, NHRA guy, but we don't see eye to eye on this shit. But I've been saying that NHRA has been doing it a long time, wrong for a long time. And not only me, but I have a lot of manufacturers who have been big supporters of NHRA drag racing who have come on and went to NHRA and said, you need to stop doing what you're doing and talk to Chad. And so I'm glad that this is getting some attention with Salinas. And he was very poignant and saying, look, I'm not bagging on NHRA. I don't want NHRA to go away, but I want NHRA to do things in order to get bigger and better and get back to where we were, which is the things that I've been saying as well. So he said a couple of different things. I agree with some of the stuff that he said. I disagree with some of the other things. He was really big to point out that like the Good Guys, which he's very close to the Good Guys Rod and Custom Association, does such a great job getting lots of people to car events every weekend, which it's coming up here in Texas this weekend. And he's right. They're not alone. I mean, there's tons of SCCA autocross. Autocross is the largest motorsport in the world. More people autocross every single week than anything else. But before we talk about any specific numbers, because we're not getting into that, remember that there was a time in the 70s when NHRA drag racing was bigger than Little League baseball. NHRA, think about that, people. NHRA drag racing had more people on a weekly basis participating in drag racing than Little League baseball. Now, obviously, way more people play Little League baseball now than they did then, but it's still a huge sign of where things were and where they can be. But
my father-in-law had 9 NHRA trophies in his storage room because he went every weekend and ran an NHRA event at Bristol in the 70s with him and his brother.
Yeah.
And they were like, everybody was doing it there. Like
where are they?
Town was, the whole town was, the whole, because he lives about 12, 15 miles from the track,
right?
Still, so I mean, they just.
I love that they had on your own thing.
I know you did. That was good. They had a Chevy 2 station wagon.
Ooh, I like
drag
it.
Race. Yeah, and then they got later on got a Corvette. But it was everybody was doing it back then.
Well, Lyle and I are planning some big things for this year with his racing efforts and some stuff that we're going to bring to the world of fans and such at the racetrack that nobody else is doing. And we're working on all that, and that's coming together. But in general, what do you think of what he said, Lyle?
I agreed with a good bit of what he said. I think the biggest takeaway I had from it is there's this large disconnect from the sportsman and the grassroots side of drag racing and what is the NHRA today.
Yes.
There were people that commented on the article that I shared that said it was a great read, that said, well, how does one become an NHRA drag racer? And the only response that I can argue is money,
right.
And those are facts,
Yep.
But there's, what the very person that asked that doesn't understand is that there are ways to participate in the NHRA, or there should be, and there are that you just don't know about, that don't require you to have just tons of money. But everybody assumes that if you're going to go like me to the Gators next week and race, that you just got to show up in a 53-foot hauler with a transfer truck, 10 or 15 crewmen, a hospitality tent, shirts, got to have hero cards, you got to have all these things. And that's not the case, and the NHRA does a terrible job of telling the masses that you can come race with us with very little, and you can still come and be a part of these national events. You don't have to be a pro mod racer. You don't have to be Mike Salinas in Top Fuel. You don't have to be Alexis DeJoria in Funny Car. You don't have to be Erica Enders in Pro Stock. You don't have to be Matt and Angie Smith in Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Right.
You can come and run stock, super stock, whatever you want to run. But there's this huge disconnect there. And I don't.
Well, and you can go to your local races and run and never go to an NHRA divisional or national event and still be an NHRA racer every weekend at your local racetrack.
Correct.
But the problem is that NHRA isn't supporting those efforts. So your local racetrack, right? Like Nashville Dragway, which is right down the street from a good friend of ours, from Jeff Lee's house, that racetrack is not putting on, national level events. They're not putting on events that are around any sanctioning body. They're putting on their own weekly bracket program that has everybody getting to come out and race or test and tune or grudge night or whatever. And because they don't get help from anybody at a higher level, so if NHRA was doing more, you'd have everybody showing up. I mean, the greatest thing on earth would be to have, 40 kids that are 17 or 18 years old that showed up at the drag strip in their mom's car. That would be the best thing we could have. Like, that's where it needs to start, and junior drag racing's great and all of those things too, but we don't have to have people starting at 10 years old either. I mean, some will, and that's great. But you know what? If somebody finds out about drag racing at age 18, they should be able to come do it and have a good time.
I mean, I'm looking right now, Beach Bend's in my backyard. They got Super Sunday races in NHRA ET Street Series.
Yeah.
Pay $105, have a chance to win $5,000.
Yeah.
That's not a big ask for anybody.
No, not at all. And,
Well,
it's funny because one thing Salinas said was, kids are more interested in Hondas than Chevys or whatever. I don't believe that's true at all. In fact, I know that the industry would say
that's based on. I think that's based on the demographic.
Yes, right.
Like there are guys in the inner city of Charlotte, which is 30 miles that way.
Yeah,
they may be more interested in Hondas and Chevys, but there are more guys interested in boosted LS stuff and nitrous and blower stuff in Mooresville. So I think that all depends on where you are. But I agree that in general, there are less interested in fast Hondas than there are interested in that, right?
But notwithstanding whether or not, LS, old school, new school, front wheel drive, whatever, it's all still racing and it's all still the gateway to step in, where you start.
Right.
Well, and one of the things, and this helps segue over into this, and one of our sponsors who, Lyle hasn't even seen it. There's 4 of us, so this doesn't work real good. Well, wait, maybe it does.
I saw it earlier.
Oh, did you see? Oh, there you are. You guys are just above the thing. Nice, right? You like the logos? There you go. It's on the right side too. You notice that there, Lyles? So anyway, Matt's trying to hide. The one that causes like Doug Cook so much grief over at Motion is electric vehicles. And the one thing that I think everybody is forgetting when it comes to electric vehicles, and I've had this conversation numerous times, and every time people go, whether we like electric vehicles, like they're quiet and all that, they're way less exciting as far as that goes. It's very understandable why they are so popular with young people. And there's a couple things here, like, the Holly High Voltage event at Sonoma Raceway, the number of children that came because of the free ticket handout was double what come to an LS Fest or Mo Party or Ford Fest per adult ticket, right? Because you get a free kid ticket. So literally the paid tickets, twice as many people got a free ticket for their kids. Well, it's not loud and scary. It's not smelly. It's not all those things, right? So that's a little less intimidating. But the bigger deal, the thing that's way more important about it, we look at it and go, shit, I don't have to charge my car and do all those things, right? But every kid on the planet already charges the cars they're into, right? Every RC car on earth, you plug it in and it's got LiPo batteries in it, just like a Tesla. Okay. And it makes the exact same noises as a Tesla. So if you take a kid who's already got a bunch of RC cars at home and you tell them, hey, we're going to go watch full-size versions of those run, they're like, cool, And so it doesn't seem weird to them. And as far as I'm concerned, if it keeps them, if half the cars that showed up at a drag strip were electric, but it kept the drag strips open and making good money and all of that, then it's worth having, So, I mean, and Lyle, we have lots of friends that run racetracks, and we know that if you're not open all the time, you are not making money. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you're open to as many people as you possibly can.
It would take me about 10 minutes, but I could walk to one right now.
Yes. Literally,
right,
if you drew a line from Lyle's head through his right shoulder to the starting line is over there if he points to the right. I mean, it is right there. Exactly. And so at Mooresville Dragway. And to the point, folks, that when they go testing there, they just fire up the cars and drive them over there real quick, or hook the push, the razor to them and push them over there. It's just too close. It's not worth putting shit on the trailer, you know? So, hey, that's why Beer Money don't have a hood no more.
It is. I will put 2 fuel jugs, small generator, battery charger, the buckets to change out the water for the radiator deal, and drive that SOB right over to the racetrack. And Biggin is going to do it. So I'm testing the Pro Mod tomorrow and Thursday in Darlington. So Biggin is actually going to test Beer Money for me on Thursday afternoon, because I'm going to Savannah Dragway in Savannah, Georgia, Sylvania, Georgia, right outside of Savannah on Saturday to race for 10 grand, hopefully, if testing goes well. We've made some small changes. Transmission ratios are a little different. And Pete just wants a little time. We got some dumps and stuff on there that we're trying. So Pete wants a little time to get it sorted out before we go race. But I'm testing this Pro Mod this week. Obviously the Gators are next week. Got another race for Beer Money the week after that. Another race in the truck the week after that. So we've got a full plate.
I know. Yep. That's awesome. There's so much going on right now.
There is.
Matt, we're getting ready for all of the, car show and power tour and all of that. Dude, look at a Tim King in the house and everything too. Dude. Yeah. Tim beats us on the beard, Lyles. Here, raise your head up there, Timmy. Give us a little look on the, that bad boy.
Yep.
But
get out of here with that.
But we should have to cut it off because he's an IPA drinking fool, and
I'm the smallest one.
How do you think I got this? It wasn't by drinking Coors Light.
I know how you got it, but we can't talk about it on here, by God.
Yeah, exactly. But as we get, so Tim is marketing genius over at Bear Brakes. Also part of the pro touring family with Lateral G, longtime magazine editor, an enthusiast, dude, you'd love it, Lyle. So he has a bagged 59. It's a 59, right?
62.
The limo?
62.
Oh, 62 Cadillac limo. Factory limo, dude. It's so rad. Oh my God, it's badass. Yeah. And he has a badass Chevelle and a bunch of other stuff. So he's a good hot rod guy, and he's here in Texas. So, but we're all getting ready for either races or car shows or power tour, drag and drive events, et cetera, et cetera. What does everybody think? We'll start with McTaggart and go around the circle. What does everybody think this year is going to be like? 2022, are we getting back into the normal deal or what?
I think we are. I saw it last year when people were just starting to come out to shows and just kind of poking their heads out and seeing what was going on. They filled up, even when we had restrictions in place, even when you still had mask mandates in place, population control, the whole 9 yards. They still ran the gates. They were still there. The craving is there. It's been how many years now? People are just over it. They want out. They want oxygen. They want to see the cars. They want to go do and see and travel. I think you're just going to see everything swell up. The shows are going to be filled. If Power Tour doesn't sell out in minutes, I'll be stunned. Drag Week, well, that's a foregone conclusion. It will.
Yeah.
Same with Rocky Mountain. Same with anything else that's drag and drive. That's all I see, unless something exceptionally dumb comes around the corner, or you have wave number 94 come through. They're coming out.
Yeah. What do you think, Lyles?
I agree. I, however, am a little fearful that simply the price of fuel today is going to steer some of these low-budget teams from coming to maybe all of the events that they had planned for at the end of last year. I know for a fact that obviously with me running the full NHRA Pro Mod schedule this year, that the diesel fuel budget for the rig is something that has came up, because it's obviously going to be significantly more, if the forecast is correct, than it was last year. So that would be my only fear, is that there's not as much participation across the board. I mean, we're still going to pick up a regional racer here and there, but I don't know that maybe later in the year, if there are some teams who are maybe on the outside looking in on the points deal and know they can't win a championship, are they going to pay what it costs to travel from Northeast to Dallas, Texas for the last race of the year? And the same goes for the fans. The fans that maybe splurge a little bit to buy tickets to a national event or tickets to any certain event and just say, man, gas is $4.50 a gallon or whatever it is. I really just don't think we can afford to do it. That's my only fear. But as far as locally and what's going on here and around the racetracks, I think that this Thursday night at Mooresville Dragway is the first test and tune night for the year. And I fully expect for it to be an hour wait in the stage and lanes, and for there to be, thousands of people there. I've been to test and tunes around the country, a lot in the North and South Carolina region, and I have never seen a test and tune night like what they have at Mooresville Dragway on any given Thursday. It's insane.
It is. It's like going to a big dollar race. I mean, I've been crazy there on a Thursday night. Yes. And like Biggin's like, come in the gate and we got the, Razor parked next to the starting line. I'm like, what? And get up. And it's like going to Georgia for a radio race. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing for there to be 4 lanes of test and tune cars backed up. If you've never been to Mooresville, you don't know, but what we would say up the hill and around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's,
and Mooresville Dragway, little place. They do fried bologna sandwiches at the snack bar, and they're damn fine.
Knock your socks off.
Awesome.
Oh, so good. And if you're with the right people, you can enjoy a beverage on the starting line. And it's got, like, when they have their test and tune night, there are going to be some regular old stuff. Don't get me wrong. But there's a bunch of real legit fast cars also that are out there doing testing and racing for money. Yeah. It's badass. Mooresville is a great place.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. Hey, I just got my second warning that my phone's about to die. Okay. So I'm going to get off here, but good to see all of you guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully next week, depending on how the weekend goes, if we do not take advantage of the Gainesville test, I will be at home next Tuesday night and can set all my stuff up and do it from home and spend the whole time on here. But you never know. I may be burning jet fuel somewhere. So you guys be good. Chad, thank you for getting me on here. Sorry I haven't been on in the past couple weeks. Nice beard, Tim. Matt, keep working. McTaggart, I don't know why you hang out with that guy, but I love you all. God bless America.
Hey, rub on beer money a little. Oh, that's awesome. So what do you think, Matt? What do you think the year is going to be like?
Well, I was watching the news the other night about 2 weeks ago when they first announced that COVID was going on the decline.
Yeah, down. Yep.
And in that same segment, they were talking about how that same week when that was announced, hotel bookings went up 700%.
Yeah.
So that tells you what's going to happen.
Yes.
So this is going to be, if we don't have World War III, this is going to be the roaring 20s, I think, for the next couple of years, for people just, got to get out and live. And it's been a rough couple of years for a lot of people. So
yeah, I agree. And I mean, I will tell you that financially, while a bunch of people did really, really good, especially all the rich fucks, the rest of us didn't, and those of us in the media business really didn't do well during COVID.
It was tough,
and I can tell you that that's still, I have faith that we're going to be all right. Yes, we're experiencing some inflation right now. That is not going to be a problem in the long term. Okay, everybody, we've had such a huge boom of the economy the last 2.5 years. It just roll with it. It's okay. This is going to get okay. And not only that, but we have we really don't have that much to bitch about, right? So, we got the Aussies that are on here like, your gas is still cheap, you asses. You know what I mean? So the rest of the world pays way more for fuel than we do, and they don't make more money than we do. So it's okay.
Fuel is, I always tell people,
all right.
Fuel is relative.
Yes.
It's all relative to where you live. And I mean, every time I've been to Europe or overseas, fuel is like double the money. And guess what? People are driving everywhere.
Yes.
It didn't stop anybody. But those countries also have way better public transportation than we do.
That's exactly
so
right.
Fuel is much higher there because of that.
Yes, because they don't use as much of it. Yes.
That's right.
Now,
that's right.
One thing about that too, though, is that, everybody's talking about it going up, and diesel has, obviously is crazy. I'll be honest with you, and Tim lives on the other side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In the last week, gasoline's gone down here. So the gasoline along I-35 that I normally see has gone down 12 cents in the last 7 days. So
I don't ever pay attention. I just swipe the card, fill up. I'm gonna get it anyway, right?
Yeah,
what difference is
yeah, pretty much.
It just makes you mad when you look at it.
Yeah, but you know why you do that, Tim? Because you and I are from California. And so here's why I say this, because everybody used to tell us when gas was $4 or $5 or $6 or whatever at crazy times, what do? I'm like, put gas in the Suburban so we can get where we gotta go. Like, what do you mean? What do? You don't walk, right? So maybe you go, well, hell, I guess I better not eat McDonald's today, but you still buy gas. Like that just happens, right? So what do you think, Tim? You Southern California guy, goes to Pennsylvania, ends up in Texas, right? You've been all across the country for events.
There was a spurt that I lived in Kentucky too, but
that's right.
Yeah.
You've been everywhere. So what do you think about events now this year? Because of the fact that you know what it's like in all these different areas.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can see, like I think this year they're going to be bigger than ever. Like last year, things were people were still kind of like stepping into it, a little bit, and there was some uncertainty to it all. But this year, I just came home from Lone Star Throwdown this weekend, and it was absolutely packed. And mind you, it was 35 degrees, raining and windy, and that didn't stop anybody. They were there in force. And so I think everything's going to be kind of just back to normal, business as usual. Because even in California, they've undone a lot of the restrictions there. Like being here in Texas, we've kind of had a blind eye to the whole COVID thing because there hasn't been a lot of restrictions here. But the places that have had it clamped down pretty tight seem to be loosening up a bit. So I think for the most part, things are going to be back to normal. It'll be interesting. I'll be at the Good Guys show here, the Speedway. I guess that's next weekend. But even last year, the spring and the fall show packed. People, like you said, people are ready to be out. They want to go enjoy themselves. And I think it like Matt was saying, it kind of put a perspective on thing that like, shit, man, life is short. We need to go experience things, go take that trip, go visit grandma, whatever we got to do while we still can,
Every one of us in this picture or on this screen right now has lost someone to COVID that we know.
Oh, yeah, multiple. Yes.
All four of us know somebody that has died. I have several.
Yeah. In our industry, we have a bunch. In the automotive aftermarket, people that are watching that are not in the race community, because in that one, it's a ton as well. But in the automotive aftermarket itself, which all four of us are in very heavily, it's been a bunch.
Just one slice of a demographic is just us. So think about all the other people out there. Look, here's a perfect example of why it's going to be busy. The last 3 NASCAR races have been completely sold out. Now, what has NASCAR done in the last few years to bring anybody in? Not a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What, the Coliseum, the new car?
Wanting to go. People are just wanting to get out and go. They're like, oh my God, I want to go to a NASCAR race. I've never done one. Yes. I think it's a lot of that. So
and I think it's great, because here's one thing too, and I want to encourage people. This is why I asked this question about what we think the events are going to be, is because I want to encourage people out there to go to races, car shows, whatever. Go do these events this year because it matters, right? And so We want you guys to go out and have a good time. Take your kids to a car show, take your kids to the drag race, go buy a beer, have a good time, go see Beer Money. Remember, there is still a bottle opener mounted with ARP fasteners on the right rear, B-pillar on that car, and you can try and open a bottle of beer or soda on it without making a mess. And if you do, you get a free t-shirt. Okay. So try it on Beer Money. It's awesome. But also the reason that I'm bringing this up is, the restrictions are getting lifted everywhere. Even California, I had some friends that were griping about California restrictions. And it was like, have you not watched the news? Because that all got dropped like 3 days ago. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, dude, go have fun. Like, get out.
Oregon, Washington, they're all gone. I mean, Washington was like a hot point for a long time. They're done.
And so it's awesome. So I love it. I'm like super excited about it. Another thing I'm super excited about, I want to make sure we mention too, if you buy anything from Motion Raceworks right now, Motion is having a sale. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
The new Valtrain?
No. Okay, that's funny. That's funny there, Matt. Matt Graves having it. No, so we
won't talk about it right now. We'll leave that.
Well, we can. Every
no,
day
there's not enough time to talk about.
We'll save the chicken coop episode when I have it in here and I'm working on the motor.
That's true. Yes,
we'll do a whole thing about it.
Oh yeah, it'll be awesome. The chicken coop is super rad. But every single day this month, they are going to choose one random order at Motion Raceworks, just one out of a hat. And that order is going to get a free MPI drift steering wheel, the Cletus McFarland American Flag Edition, which is, I don't know, a couple $100, aren't they, McTaggart? I look it up. I think
rad,
they are.
I'll look it up.
They're super nice. They're MPI steering wheel. It's pretty good. So yeah. Ricky from New Zealand in the house. Ryan McElhenney. That makes
that's a $300 wheel, dude.
Dude, $300 a day worth of. That's cool.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Badass. So Matt, you brought up the chicken coop. So Matt has a Coupe de Ville with an LS and a 6-speed in it. It's like if Cadillac had done a CTSV in the 70s instead. Well, wait, what year is
80.
it?
It's an 83.
84. 83.
Oh, 83. Yeah. Okay. So if Cadillac had done a CTSV in 1983, it would have been Matt's. And so you guys wait until you see this thing. It's awesome. Let's see.
Brakes, I'm just going to say that.
This thing this car is pretty cool though, right here. So this is my buddy's car that builds hot rods. He's also lives here in East Tennessee. This is an all original car, original paint. It's a 58 Impala.
Original paint on that car?
Original. That car is like it came from the factory as you see it.
No way. So suspension and wheels and brakes are the only things on it that aren't stock.
The brakes are still stock as of right now. So I'm doing a full Ride Tech coilover suspension system on it. I think I saw Rodney on there earlier.
Yeah.
But it's getting full. It had a cheap airbag system on it.
Right.
It's kind of homebrew airbags. He bought the car in Texas like 15 years ago. And it's been garage kept in Texas. This car has no rust on it at all. Just a little
Jet
surface
Black
rust here
says
and there.
that it has a rear helipad. That's how big the trunk is.
Yeah, I could probably I'll walk around. We got to see the interior in this thing.
Yes,
it's all he had done to it is put seat covers on it. He had them made, and which are pretty cool, though.
Dude.
That is awesome.
Look at the doors.
Dude.
Oh my God, that's sexy.
I love that.
Me too.
That's cool.
Dude, that is rad. A 58 Chevy has always been one of my favorites. My dad had in 1969, he had bought his 68 Z28 Camaro brand new. And then I believe it was 1959. He could chime in. It was a 58 Chevy in 1969. I believe he bought it. It was a Del Rey.
I like all this stuff right here. This is what I like.
I know. That's the best part about him. But Dad bought a 58 Chevy that he used to flat tow his Camaro to the races. It was awesome.
But I mean, think about the tooling they made back then to make these stupid quarter panels.
Oh,
and it's a 1 year only deal. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's true too. And you know what? You're right, because now, like, dude, they never would make anything with that sharp body lines anymore, ever.
You can't.
So, Chad, help you guys are experts on this. It's a 409 style motor, but it's not a 409.
Yeah, W motor. It's a 348.
Yeah, 348. That's right. Yeah,
yep.
I couldn't remember what size he said it was.
Yeah, it's a 348. It's a W. So it's the predecessor to the original big block Chevrolet in some ways, because it's a canted valve cylinder head. So it was the mystery motor came from this, a 427 version, and then the big block Chevrolet came about. So yes, it's pretty cool.
So I'm doing the RideTech full RideTech kit, but we realized that you got to have 59 spindles to make it work. So I'm waiting on him to order spindles and brakes for the front.
Yeah, because you have to use 59 or later.
The rear is still bad. I'm changing it over to the RideTech stuff, which is all scattered about my table here in a big pile.
That's awesome.
So
I'm just looking here in the comments. PJ Nadeau, and I'm sorry if I butchered that. I apologize. There was an article written years ago about the 58 Chevy being the most expensive Chevy due to the cost of restoration and rarity of parts, and I wouldn't doubt that for a second.
No.
The idea of paying to have all that chrome redone alone scares my wallet half to death.
Well, that's why he's so happy that it's all original paint car and everything.
Yeah, no doubt.
He just wants to be able to drive it more, like drive it around. It's a 3 on the tree too, by the way, and he's leaving it all there. But he's putting RideTech. He's got RideTech suspension and nice brakes, but he's going to leave the 3 on the tree.
He brings it to a guy that does 6-speed transmission.
Well, I do a lot of this.
I do manual transmission. Don't touch that.
I know you don't care. I'm with you, dude. If you haven't driven a 3 on the tree car for any amount, you're missing. They're awesome,
dude. I want to. It's something I haven't done yet.
He's also a customer. Not only he's a customer of mine on transmission, so he buys a lot of transmissions from me. So yeah, he does a lot of the 5 speeds for hot rodders is a big deal right now. They all want to stick in their car. So
hey, if you can, I mean, the car is his color.
Oh yeah,
he only owes one color. I mean, it's not the color with his actual name on it, but it's inspired by his color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Jet Black says, when are we doing a 6 on the tree? And I say, yeah.
This thing, this little hood bit or this roof feature up here is pretty cool too.
Oh yeah.
There's all these neat little, there's all these neat little, like these the little rings right here.
Yeah.
These things are cool.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but they're cool.
Scott Payton from RideTech in the house saying hello. Do what?
Is that roof? Is the roof vent actually functional on those cars, or just like a looks cool thing?
It's just a looks cool thing.
I was gonna say. I don't think they were open.
There's no hole in it.
Yeah. But you know what? If you built a race car, you'd want to make it so it was open. Right?
Yeah,
it'd be cool. Oh yeah. Also want to say, like I said, say hi to Scott Payton from RideTech, who's in the house. Monty Fitzgerald, my dude from Northern California, in the house, and Sparky Steve from Holly in the house as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
so here's a big RideTech. This is the RideTech 3 link for this thing. Look at
it's the upper control arm for the car.
Let's talk about that. So how advanced is that suspension design? Think about it. 1958, it had a 3-link.
Yes.
Okay. And then in 59, they added the panhard bar. So that's even more.
Yep.
That's a modern style, like, pro touring car runs panhard bars and 3-link, stuff like that. So it's pretty wild that they had that. Now, I was telling these guys the other night about this thing came in here and the airbags were just all blown out. So it's that far off the ground. If you talking about jacking up a car as an X-frame GM car that's sitting right on the ground, you can't get the jack under it.
Oh yeah, because if you're not familiar with an X-frame car, the frame is out by the body, like in front of the rear wheels, and behind the front wheels, it's still in pretty far.
Yeah,
there's not any place. The frame's all in the middle. You can't get to it.
The owner said an X-frame is nothing but a drive shaft loop. It's like
pretty much.
You should see. You should see the one on my Cadillac.
Oh,
but yeah, it's
yours is the same way, except instead of a bushing, yours uses a ball joint.
On mine, yeah, the rear three link
it's got that weird ball joint.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen those, yeah.
But then that
Cadillacs
X-frame,
had great suspension.
That thing is huge.
Oh yeah.
Mine actually has full ride tech on it as well. That I Chad, I think since you've ridden in it, I bagged that car, so it sits nice and low nowadays.
Yeah. When I rode in it, it was still stock stuff, or stockish.
It had Jamco lowering springs, but that was it. Like no shocks or nothing. It was all blown out.
Yeah,
but
it was cool though. I love that car.
I've actually done a lot of stuff.
That's one of the cars you kept of your cars. Like you've moved all across the country and you kept the limo, which is arguably the least it's the one nobody would fault you for if you're like, dude, I can't haul a limo across the country, right? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I would be disappointed because I love that car, but nobody would judge you for going, man, I can't haul the limo across the country,
Man, I tell you what, I've had my Chevelle for 20 some odd years now, and it's all, you guys have seen it's all badass and stuff, but I love that Cadillac more than I love that Chevelle. I find myself driving that Chevelle, less and less, and the Cadillac more and more. Cadillac's nice, it's quiet, smooth, like it, and it gets 10 times the amount of attention that Chevelle ever does.
Which is funny because your Chevelle is badass.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things though that it's different, and everybody's got a Cadillac story, right? Like their grandpa had one, their mom had one. Like everybody's got an old Cadillac story. You think about all the different styles and ethnicities that build, we could stereotype that build cars. Like everybody loves Cadillacs, right? I mean, there's no person out there that's like, man, I just really hate Cadillac. Everybody loves them things.
No one is not like my car, and it's a weird thing. It's just a weird boxy 80s Cadillac, but it's still a Cadillac. I've got the worst generation of Cadillac, and people still go, wow, when it pulls up.
Yeah, but you know what? Your Cadillac though.
Mine is also. I know it's a different deal, but you have to look at it twice to see what's going on.
But the funny thing is that you have a clean, well-built example. I had that limousine, which is basically a garbage pit version of your car with extra ass on the back, and people still ask me about that pile.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I hated that thing.
Yeah, because it's a Cadillac and it's a limousine. Well, a limousine adds a lot more flavor. That's for anything. A limousine. I mean, let's face it.
It just adds a lot more.
It's like a hearse.
It's like,
if you drove a hearse around, everybody wants to see it and talk about it. So
yeah,
Yeah, but here's the thing about the Cadillacs like yours, Matt. Even though it's an '80s Caddy. That car, from basically 1969 until then, those cars they didn't have anything revolutionarily different about the design on them, right? They just got subtly different over that time.
I mean,
so
even
whether it's an
83
or a 69, it looks the same, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Those cars are pretty much the same thing frame-wise to like 74 or whatever.
Yeah. They're badass.
77 when they wouldn't downsize, but effectively they just followed the trend. And they just it was small incremental changes. It wasn't this huge, massive shift all of a sudden.
No, exactly.
Mine is a B body chassis, but it's really a C. They call it a C body because it's like 11 inches longer or something. But it's like the same front end and the same rear end GM's made for 50 billion years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all it is. Even on this Impala, the upper and lower control arms and the way the springs and everything made, it's pretty much the same style. And it's an X-frame.
But why screw with a good thing?
GM was masterful at just keeping those stamped steel control arms that fit everything, on my car. So when I started researching when I was building my car, you can run G body A arms on the front of that. This is an 83 Cadillac. You can run G body, anything G body on the front A arms will bolt on. Anything second gen Camaro bolts on. So those cars, B bodies had the 5-on-5 bolt pattern.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the harder to find good wheels for.
Right.
But you can go to like then if you could step down to like the Camaro, which is what 5 and 4 3/4.
Yeah.
Bolt pattern. Well, since it's Camaro front end, I swapped all that in the front, and then just had Curry build the rear end. So then I had a whole. That's the beauty of GM. I'm sorry, everybody, but that's just to me like one of the reasons to build a car. It's a cheap way to build a car,
right?
Because all the stuff interchanges. You can just find everything for it. So,
well,
I just thought it was a good platform.
So let me ask you this: is there anything different? Like when you go and bolt the Camaro control arm on, do you have to do anything weird to make it work?
No,
it just goes on.
I called Tim, and he got me we got the bare brakes sorted out for it, and I said I'm just going to run 2nd gen Camaro spindles because they work with and he's like, okay, we can do the drop spindle and put the bare brakes on it, and they just sent me that, and it just clicked right in place.
Yeah,
and I was done.
Yeah, we actually with those ones because those spindles have the cast-in caliper mount, so we can't really mount a larger brake. So we actually get the spindles in, cut off that cast-in caliper mount, drill it, and then like with the Bayer stuff, we actually completely assemble it on the spindle. So like when it showed up at Matt's shop, it was like you set it on the ball joints and connect your tie rod, your brake hose, and you're done.
It was the easiest brake job I've ever done in my life.
Yeah,
it literally was.
I came over there.
I forgot that's one of the ones where you do that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
If you're gonna do a bare brake kit, just and you got spindles, order it done. It's just spend the money and get it. You're done. You just click it on. You don't have to I've had to put big brake kits on before from other companies, and you got to shim the calipers and I mean light machining required in some cases.
Yes.
Whereas they do it for you, and I'm like, I just hook a brake line up, and if you can undo tie rods and cotter pins and brake lines, you can put this in. That's all you got to do.
So I'm assuming because it's me, I ordered the brakes for the Camaro that aren't that way. Am I right, Tim?
Yeah, yours don't come on a spindle.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But
if that was available, I would screw up and not order them. I mean, I'm just saying. No, but I know the install of mine is a cakewalk. I've done them plenty of times, so I know
they're still easy. Yeah, I mean those are still easy to do. Yeah, but whenever we'll have the car back in here, we'll do a whole walk. I'll walk around the car and show you all the
absolutely
stuff. It'll be cool.
So here's the plan. So for everybody that's watching right now, so here's the plan for. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Like Dad's on here. He says he was a service manager at a Cadillac dealer in the early '80s, which he was. I forgot. Like when I was a kid, he worked at Cadillac. So hello, Christy Schumer.
I'm sure he's way familiar with my model of car then.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I would listen to him come home and bitch about HT 4100s and all kinds of stuff. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. So that motor, those engines in that car, that is a 4.1 liter V8, probably the worst V8 GM's ever made. It was a cast iron heads and aluminum block.
Yes.
You do the math.
Horrible. Yeah. They were horrible.
Yeah. The boat anchor.
Did you want to trade off for a 120 horse big block?
Yeah, right.
Cars,
do what?
So
they put them in what, Matt?
A bazillion cars.
Oh God, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the plan. So we are going to continue to do Triple B, Beards, Burnouts, and Beer on Tuesday nights. Probably still going to continue with every week. May go to every other week. We'll see. This Thursday is going to be the soft opening on Power Shift, which is going to feature
your dad said it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a piece of shit. And he had all the 864 engines. That was all of them were that way.
Oh, the diesels.
The 5.7 diesel and the HT 4100 were displacement on demand before that was a thing. Oh, yeah.
And in my Cadillac, took a walk. And that body style, my car had the optional 350 diesel.
Yes. Yes.
Because it has the dual battery trays for the diesel motor and all that stuff. Which is garbage too.
Yes, it was. There was nothing good. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chad. We interrupted you.
That's all right. So we're going to do a soft opening on Power Shift on Thursday, me and McTaggart. And if these two Yahoos want to join us or anybody else, let me know. And then we're going to do Power Shift every other week. But there's going to start being a lot more live stuff. So there's going to be some Bang Shift live stuff like Power Shift. There's going to be some Chad Reynolds live stuff like this and some other fun things, including a bunch of tech stuff that is coming up. So my goal is going to be to do Power Shift every other week. And then the opposite weeks, we're going to do some tech segments with some chassis builders, some cylinder head guys, some engine guys, some piston guys, some brake guys like Tim, and wiring guys. We got everybody. We're bringing them all in-house. So it's going to be awesome. And you guys will be able to ask questions and we'll give you whatever we can. And we'll make up anything we don't know.
And there's Tim looking around going, wait, nobody told me this shit.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know yet.
I just got roped into
He knows now.
He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
What he doesn't know is that once you log in here, I can just click and start your camera anytime. It's fine.
That's all right. I got a little cover for it. Boop, and we're done. See? And that's my bed right there. I don't know if you want to be turning that on all the time.
No, I do not. Okay, hold on. I'm reading through some of the comments here. Oh, yeah. Anvil says he had an Olds 98 with the 350 diesel in it. Oof, that's just horrible. Yeah. Two Talls, looking forward to Rocky Mountain Race Week. So are we. It's going to be awesome. Scott Liggett asking what your job is at Holly there, McTaggart.
I sweep the floors. What do you want to know?
Yeah, floor sweep. And FYI, they told him he can't use a dustpan. Just saying, no dustpan. So he has to sweep all the way through the warehouse and out the back door of the place. It's huge.
It was a one-time deal. I made a mistake, but what do you do?
Ryan Wing in the house, fellow Texan. Neil Sabo says same job as the head bank shift. Head floor.
Careful,
sweeper.
Neil.
It's
I remember
totally
you
fine.
sleeping on a couch on a drag strip. I'll bring that up.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, but Neil's the best minion ever, so it's good.
Yes.
Good morning from Denmark. Hell yes,
Right.
Denmark in the house. I am looking forward to international travel again. I am not going to lie to you folks. I can't wait to go to Mexico again. I can't wait to go to Europe again. Dude.
Yeah, me too. I want to go to Australia.
Yes.
Badly.
I have I have people in the UK begging me to come. I got Aussies begging me to come. We'll make a trip. It's going to be awesome. Anvil says it was the most damn comfy car ever. It just didn't have a molecule of power.
That's every 80s car made. They did great interiors. They're plush. They're comfortable. They're soft touch. But they can't get out of its own way.
Well, okay. So Matt's car is I can't wait to do the show on your car because it doesn't make sense for that thing to have a clutch pedal in it. And yet it's so perfect.
It makes perfect sense.
And no,
it's great.
And it is. It's awesome. And those cars were made for comfort, which is something they screw up on new cars. So new cars, like the window openings are all too high and all this crap, and they've screwed all that up. So you can't ride anymore with your arm on the window because it's like this, but you can on 80s cars still, you know.
The Cadillac's perfect. It's got the perfect height.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
and the doors, windows on that Cadillac are as big as the front windshield.
Yes. Oh,
as
God,
far
yes.
as like
the door is like 8 feet long, and
So you have it's a complete panoramic view in the car. It's great because there's so much door glass. You know,
and it's not choppy. I mean, the length, the way that thing rides.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't ridden a Matt's car, but I've got plenty of experience in 70s and 80s
it rides
cars.
Great.
You cannot beat the wheelbase.
The QE1 suspension on that thing, just with the shocks set on it just right, it rides like a Cadillac. I mean, it's cliche to say, but wow. And it's got to be that wheelbase. And it handles incredible. You know,
Dad's asking how you put a third pedal in the Cadillac. We're going to get to that on another episode.
I'll give you the cliff notes real quick.
Yeah.
It's a combination of G-body, pedal box, third-gen Camaro pedal, and a little bit of grinding and drilling. That's the secret to it. But I'll go into that in more detail later. Listen, we can actually show it to you on the car when I get it in here. So I just got to get this thing done out of here because I've got it around back right now.
Yep. Yeah, Ricky, we hear you. We're ready though. When they're ready, we're ready. PJ says you took an Iraqi taxi pedal and put it in there.
Yep.
Always a fun explanation for that one.
We have a 70 Cadillac Coupe de Ville ready to come to the Reynolds shop. So yeah, with a built 472 in it, and all kinds of goodness. NA ride. It's awesome. So yeah,
nice.
It'll be good.
I still want a 1970. I like my favorite Cadillac Coupe de Ville body style is 6970.
Yes, that's what this is.
Do you remember that article?
It was my grandmother's car
on Bank Shift years ago. That black
Coupe de Kill
speed car.
Oh
that thing.
Yep.
That I was so in love with that car. Like that body style to me is the best. It's the best one.
Yeah. What's not to love?
It's more subtle, but it's got a little bit of fin to it. You know,
that thing was not subtle. That car was a sledgehammer.
I mean the body style in general from Cadillac, yes. But yeah, that thing was It had that big air dam in the front and shit. It's great.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, but you know what? The thing that's cool about your car is that if we took your car and you put a center cap in it that was right, you could actually do a center screw and fasten a stock hubcap to those forged wheels on your Caddy and go down the road, and it would look stock. It would look like it was just a Caddy with a set of wire hubcaps. It would be awesome.
What size wheels are on the Cadillac right now?
Right now it's 18 by 10s all the way around. Only because I can't get anything wider in the back because of the fender skirts right now.
Well, Chad, you know what I'm thinking, the 3 pedals car where they faked it. So
pedals. They had 19 by 11s on the back. I talked to Josh on that car. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're bead body heathens. So that's what he does a lot of, you know.
Remember, my wagon is a B-body underneath. My 56 Chevy Rusty's a
right.
B-body.
Yeah.
So,
that's right. Yep.
It's not getting a stick, but
is Rusty in Texas with you?
Yep. It's the first car that came to the property, actually. It's already there.
Okay.
But the 66 wagon later this year will be getting a man pedal. So yeah. We got one more thing to do with it with the big blower, and then I'm going to take that out and put a turbo LS in it, and it needs the man pedal, and then that blower motor is going in Rusty. So, it's going to be awesome. So, so Doug Lutz saying he just acquired a factory stock G-body manual pedal setup, but you guys at American Powertrain just came out with a bunch of new pedals for a bunch of new stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, we have a new line of underdash hydraulics.
Yes.
And in fact, I just sent Tim a set to try on his Chevelle and one for Andrew's car. It's basically it puts the master cylinder. Go ahead.
I said I just finished my Chevelle. I was like, sweet, no more projects. I'm done. I'm going to enjoy this car. And then that box showed up yesterday.
Hey,
that's awesome.
Try this out. I'm also guinea pigging it on you a little bit too. So,
hey, so real quick, Stephen Merced is on, and he's asked twice about low 340s, high 330s possible this year on a radial. What he's talking about is Radial versus the World new record that was just set at Georgia in Radial versus the World. Everybody's saying it's going to ruin radial racing. That's not the only thing that's ruining radial racing. But is low 340s, high 330s possible this year? I suppose, but I don't think it's going to be very likely. If it happens, it'll be a one-time thing. There's not going to be any great number of people that are running those kinds of ETs this year, is my guess, unless just a bunch of stuff changes. And quite frankly, I'm going to be mean for saying this, but I don't always trust the numbers at Georgia. So just saying. Autocross, automatic or stick, which is better? The vast majority of people are going to say stick. I would argue that a properly set up, electronically controlled automatic transmission with the right lockup converter can be as good or better than that stick shift.
I think for
transmission.
autocross, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're in one gear the entire time, just about.
At most of them, you're right. Yes, that is true.
The main reason you're going to run a stick is because you're doing other events. You're going to a road course too, and so that car is going to be probably set up with the stick. But if you want to autocross, I mean, I knew plenty of guys that run an automatic, and most of those automatics were not stock. They were,
yeah, right.
They geared it up to run an autocross, and it was easy for them.
Well,
you didn't have to think about it.
Susie's running a tricked up automatic and a Rambler.
Yeah.
Where it's manual shift, manual valve body. She's just locked the gear. It's not that big a deal. I agree that if you're going to do a road course kind of, half and half build, I'd go manual transmission all day long because I'd rather have that for the road course.
Right.
But for autocross, automatic would be just fine.
I think that the key, if you're going to run an automatic on an autocross, is you must have a manual valve body or have an electronic transmission that's programmed correctly. And I believe that having a lockup converter is a key deal. So like when I race Daphne's car on the autocross, it has a 4L85E in it that we run. Holly EFI controls everything. So in my autocross transmission tune, the car is programmed to shift at a mile an hour regardless of throttle position. And so it does the 1-2 shift at 25 miles an hour regardless. Now I can play with that based on the autocross course a little bit, but it does the 1-2 shift, and 0.2 of a second after doing the shift, it locks the converter, and then it stays in second gear. It will not shift out of second gear until 100 miles an hour, and it won't downshift to first. And this is the most important thing, until you get to 2 miles an hour or under. So it only downshifts if you stop. So as long as you are still moving, the thing shifts into second gear, stays in second gear, and the converter is locked. And so as far as it's concerned, it's a manual transmission in one gear. It's got a 373 in it and a fairly short, tire. And so it's a riot. But I mean, I've autocrossed both a lot, and I've won in both. I think it's all depends on what your car is and how you set it up and all those things. But if getting yourself out there to autocross is whatever you can get out there and do quicker is what you should do. So in other words, if you have a car with an automatic in it, don't not autocross because you think you have to save up and put a stick in it, And I think Matt would agree, and he's the guy that sells stick shift conversions for your car. Like, take your car out with whatever it's got in it and go have fun with it. Save your money then and put whatever you think you need after that,
So I remember from the autocrossing days now, there was this guy that had a basically like a homebrew race car he made, and it had a 4.3 liter V6 with a power glide, like a 2-speed power glide that he built just to run autocross events. And then later on, he went and competed in the Grassroots 2000 Challenge event, and he smoked him in the autocross with that car. He came in second overall, and he had a power glide because he had to do a drag race, autocross, and then like they did a short road course. So the thing was set up. It was an automatic can do it, for sure.
Hey guys, I gotta have to jump off here because I gotta go get some kids in bed. But it was great chatting with you guys. Look forward to it in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us tonight, Tim. We appreciate it.
We'll chat with you guys soon.
We've got a gentleman on the chat here, Lycan. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Lycan Cat. And he says that he's trying to get out to a drag and drive event. Oh, hold on. Let me get that off of Matt's face. That's awesome. Okay, there you go. And he's trying to get to a drag and drive event in 2022. But he's a blind guy. We have actually several blind friends Lycan, so that's awesome, and would love to have you out there. Leaning towards Rocky Mountain Race Week, I would say that would be awesome. If you can come to Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0, I can tell you that I will absolutely help you get settled there. So if you bring, you and a buddy or whatever, and you got somebody that can haul you around, we will make sure that you get the absolute experience you're dreaming of. We'll plunk you down in a chair in the middle of the starting line between pairs of cars, and we will treat you right. I promise. So absolutely, come on down, dude. We'd love to have you. Stephen Merced, the State of the Union. Yes, that is coming up right now, I believe. So, oh
yeah,
we've been live for an hour and a half, almost here. Yeah, in a few minutes. Matt's already lost his earbuds. Already went dead. I saw him panic and pull them out. His AirPods.
I need new ones. These are old,
and they're dying. Yeah,
I need an upgrade.
I would. Oh, and Vinny Barboni is sending me PMs. All right, Vinny. Oh, I see you. Ooh, dude. Vinny has got a 58. Wow. A 58 Chevrolet Tri-Power 3 on the tree car with chrome reverses on it. It has a Continental kit on the back. Dude, this car is stunningly beautiful. Same interior as the one you've got. Dude, this thing is bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. And Vinny says it's for sale right now. Dude. Yeah, this thing is cool. I'm going to see if I can post a pic here. So hold on. Let's see. I don't know if I can post a pic.
Can't you share a screen and do it that way?
I don't
Should be able to.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, he says it's a 406 car. So let's see. Hold on.
Ron Ward being extremely quiet. Ron, when have you ever known me to be loud and obnoxious? Huh?
I know.
Shut up, Matt.
I know.
Shut
up. Oh, God.
Ron's
I don't
people.
know. I don't know how to add it. I'm going to have to do that next time. But it's a really cool car. Yeah, well, maybe share. Let's see.
All right. Well, I got to run tonight, fellas.
Yep.
It's cold.
Me too. We are an hour and a half in. Everybody that tuned in tonight, thank you so much. Matt Graves, awesome having you. Tim King, thank you so much. McTaggart, as always, and Lyle Barnett as well. McTaggart and I will be live on Thursday, and who knows who's going to show up. So here's the deal. On our new setup here, we have the ability to have up to 10, it's either 8 or 10 people that can be on the show. So you're going to start seeing us having these fun group events that are going to be cool. In fact, we're probably going to like do an occasional happy hour deal as well. So that's always a good time. You guys are going to love it, I promise. But to everybody that tuned in tonight, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Everybody be safe. I hope everybody voted today that had elections going on. We did here in Texas, and I voted. And dude, stay safe. Enjoy yourselves. Get planning for races and car shows and Power Tour. Oh my, Matt Graves is going to be on Power Tour. We got a lot coming up. It's only March 1st. There is a shit ton of stuff to do before we start in with all of the.
I got to go to Good Guys Del Mar first of the month. Maybe.
Yeah,
'tis the season, folks.
But you're not coming here for Texas. I see how it is.
I haven't been to California in a while, man. I got to go back.
That's true. I know. I'm with you. All right, boys. Thank you so much again, everybody. We appreciate it. We will see you next time here on Beards, Burnouts, and Beer.
Take care, folks.